Let's see if we can match yesterday's energy. It's going to be very difficult to do, but we will do our best. Welcome inside the vault on this Wednesday. It's the 16th of July. I'm Bobby Trossett. She's Sarah Ellison. And this episode's brought to you by the vaultpod.com. That's the newest Vault apparel line. We literally just rolled this thing out and dropped it on Monday. You guys have been calling for merch for months, if not years. And thanks to Carly and thanks to our team. Thanks to you, partner. Thanks to our efforts together. We've had a really successful start over the last few days. And as you see in the show notes, as you can see in the pinned comment right now in the live chat, this brings you directly to the vaultpod.com. And for those of you who haven't been kind of keeping up to speed on this, just know this site will be available to everyone in the next couple weeks. But for right now, as we roll out this soft launch and experiment and tweak things, it's available solely to channel members, patrons, and Discord community members. So if you are not one of those three, happy to have you become one, and we'll give you access. If not, you'll have it in the next couple weeks. But Sarah, based on already the gifts that have been gifted today, by the way, not to mention yesterday's onslaught of gifts, we have a lot many new channel members that now have access to the vaultpod.com. And as you see right now up on the screen, lots to choose from. Sarah, I finally made my haul yesterday as promised.
Nice.
Got myself a crew neck, a hoodie, a cut sleeve, one of the tank tops down here. I think it was this one in the gray. I can't even remember. I got a bunch of different things.
Did you get your snapback hat?
I didn't get that yet. I'm going to in a second run through for sure.
Okay.
The beanie, the snapback, those will be useful depending on the time of year. And then you have your miscellaneous items as well, like the koozies, like one for the tall, like high noon type can, one for just like a Budweiser. You've got coffee mugs, a bunch of different things to choose from, stickers, card magnets, you name it. So Carly's really hammered this thing out. We're continuing to tweak and make adjustments as needed. So email us at BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com if you have any suggestions. But I know you made your haul. Have you had a tracking number attached to it yet? Do you know what the ETA is?
I don't even know what day it is, let alone checking my emails. So maybe I do.
You have been going a mile a minute. You hosted over 50 people at your house last night for a luau. All right. So first of all, did the Hawaiian theme go well? And two, are you ready to roll? Because this morning, we've had a very busy morning, by the way, to peel back the curtain. Lots of meetings, lots of exciting things happening. But how you feeling over there?
I feel good. I'm tired, but I'm good. It's like a good tired. Oh, Carly already told. Thank you, Carly. Carly is live in the super chat or in the chat. She said my order is arriving tomorrow. Thank you, Carly.
Oh, the live chat's cracking me up. Not only is Carly mixing it up, and like you mentioned too, she's become a channel member, courtesy of an early run on gift givings. Douglas H. Brown Sr. picks up where everybody left off yesterday with a 10 spot. So 10 new channel members, 10 new people have now access to our soft launch on the vaultpod.com. And if that wasn't enough, he drops in a 50 spot. I know you displayed this during our countdown, but just to give him a little extra love before we dive into the content rundown, Douglas says, sorry I missed the frenzy yesterday, but let's get it started. What's about to start, and what do we have left? Because yesterday we went 2 hours and 20 minutes, partner.
Yeah, and Douglas just dropped a cool 100 before we even started the show. Thank you, Douglas. Thank you. There's a lot of green in the chat. A lot of green.
A cool and swift 100. Wildlife Wale, who's celebrating 2 months of channel membership, says, finished listening to yesterday's show after 14 hours of work, and somehow I'm pumped. Didn't have off-season fireworks from the hashtag Voltrons on my bingo card. And while we start to tease what's coming up, speaking of fireworks, at 12:45, a mystery is revealed and solved. Park Heights Prophet. Not that we don't know who he is. We get to put a face to the name coming up at 12:45. He joins us live for the very first time. What are you expecting?
I expect fireworks from PHP. I think he's about to go off on opponents and dumb conversations. And like, I know that, but I don't even quite know the type of fireworks we're gonna get, but I expect fireworks for sure. And I think all the Voltrons are excited because he's been around. He's one of the OGs. He sent us an email that he actually sent us in 2023 asking to come on the show. And back then we were like, I don't know who this guy is. We're not just gonna bring him to the show. Well, now we know who you are, PHP. So you are welcome today at 12:45.
I fear if we don't pivot to content, we might be here for the next 30 minutes. We'll revisit Super Chats in just a bit. Thank you for such a generous start to the show. Dan Orlovsky, Sarah, perhaps on a redemption tour for Lamar Jackson. We'll give you specifics on what that might mean. An anonymous NFL executive has called out Roquan Smith with some hard truths, or maybe a hard truth. We'll tell you what that is coming up in just a bit. Park Heights Prophet, as we mentioned, joins us at 12:45. Quick hits will be included as well. But, Sarah, as we know, we're off and running, not only in the show today, but yesterday, rookies reported to camp a week prior to everybody else's arrival. And here are a couple of the headliners, including Mr. Malachi Starks, who seemed awfully excited to walk into the building yesterday, as caught by Ravens Productions.
Yeah, Ravens Productions out there with the iPhone video, what it looks like here, but just not too much excitement just yet. But I mean, look at LeJohntay. What? Why am I forgetting his last name right now? Wester.
Wester.
Yeah. That's my bad. Like you said, Malachi Starks, and so they are in the building. They are probably doing their rookie things, trying to get their minds right and expectations because it's about to go down once the veterans come, and then maybe a week after that, once the pads come on. That's when it's about to go down. So they're prepping and getting the wheels ready. So we are just inching our way towards football.
Yeah, and we begin with, in terms of topic number one, if you will, Dan Orlovsky's latest. We know that he did not vote in Lamar Jackson's favor for MVP last year, Sarah. We've had him on the show before. We couldn't track him down during last year's Radio Row sessions, but we did at the Super Bowl we were in together, which was in Vegas, 2 years ago or so. You've watched this content. I'll be consuming it for the first time. So lead us in that direction.
Yeah. Well, the last, to your point, talking about the MVP, the last video I remember us covering from him was when he was trying to explain to Dominique Foxworth and others why he split the baby with his vote in terms of giving Lamar Jackson the first team All-Pro over Josh Allen, but then flipping it to Josh for the MVP. And Dominique Foxworth just laughed at the explanation and it's just like, he's like, you want it both ways. And so it just felt from early on that he was on a Josh Allen tour. He even declared Josh Allen the MVP with a month left in the season, maybe 4 or 5 weeks left to go. Whereas this year, it's like, I don't know, is he going to start doing the opposite for Lamar? Because he was asked, of the three, there's 4 big quarterbacks we all know about, with Patrick Mahomes leading the way. And then it's Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow, all fighting to try to knock Mahomes off the perch in the AFC. The Eagles did that last year from the NFC. And so Dan was asked, of those 3 quarterbacks, who do you see as the next to win a Super Bowl? And he picked one Lamar Jackson.
Going Lamar, it has to be Lamar. It's the 3rd year in a row for Baltimore. It just is. It's the 3rd year in a row where, and I've said this 100 times on this show, Lamar knows it. That organization knows it. They got to go win it. This is the 3rd year that we've sat here and said, that's the best team. 2 years ago, they had the #1 defense in football, and they fell short. And then last year, they had the #1 offense in football and fell short. This is the best roster in the NFL outside of Philadelphia. Its offensive line is going to be top 3. Lamar is coming off of arguably his best season in the NFL. Their perimeter players are fantastic. One of the things that was part of the storyline last year that hasn't talked about enough is Zay Flowers being out of that playoff game was absolutely massive. And I just think when we're down a tight end due for NFL Live, Laura Rutledge and I, we asked Isaiah Likely, what is it going to take? Who's their, kind of second tight end, but he's him and Marker. What is it going to take? And in his words, we have to not forget who we are in the playoffs. And we've talked about that on TV before. And sometimes people are like, you're talking that's a real thing. It's they've got to remember who they are when it matters the most. Last year's a dropped 2-point conversion away from maybe being a different narrative. It has to be Lamar. The next guy for me would be Josh.
Okay, I was just about to say.
It would be. I don't think Josh's team is as good as Baltimore's. And my only pushback to Patrick would be this. I agree with you that you think they're going to be better. It's no question the toughest division he's played in.
Okay, your thoughts, Bobby? That was your first time seeing it?
Yeah, makes a lot of sense to me in terms of the sense of urgency and why folks feel like it's time. It's clearly time. And while I always feel like the Ravens will be in a window of relevance with Lamar, we all agree, right? With Lamar at the helm, they're always going to be in a window of relevance. But this window of opportunity that they're in right now could potentially have a shelf life. And why that's the case in my mind is because so many of their core players are coming up towards the end of either their current contracts or, in Isaiah and Tyler Linderbaum's case, their rookie contracts. And we know from a monetary standpoint, a team building standpoint, there are parameters in place once you get to that second deal, and it gets harder and harder to budget and with respect to the when you live in a salary cap world, that's how it goes as a general manager. So the window of relevance is always going to be there so long as 8 stays healthy. The window of opportunity and this unique opportunity that's been these last couple of years with elite teams, to me, could very well have an expiration date. So the sense of urgency is real.
I think most of what Dan said there is true. If I'm nitpicking, like he said that the Ravens have a top 3 offensive line. Maybe. Maybe they'll develop into that. Yeah. I'm not putting them at number 3 going in, but they're also not number 29. So probably, somewhere closer to the middle. So, but you know what? He nailed it. He was right. When the Ravens hit the playoffs, they just have to remember who they are. And that is why, to me, it makes the most sense to pick Lamar Jackson and the Ravens over Josh Allen and the Bills and Joe Burrow and the Bengals, because Josh Allen and the Bills keep giving the Chiefs their best shot and falling short. So it's almost like, well, what else can they do? Like, how are they going to get a couple inches better, a touchdown better, a field goal better? Like, where are they going to squeeze this juice from? There's no place else to go. Whereas with Lamar and the Ravens, it's like, dang, they haven't even come close to their best selves when they've hit up against the Bills or the Chiefs. And they just, exactly as Dan said, forget who they are. And so that's why the ceiling is so much higher, and it makes sense to pick Lamar over those other 2 quarterbacks. And Bobby, for the first time from FanDuel, they now have the Ravens at number 1 in terms of Super Bowl odds this coming year. And we know PHP and many others are already getting ready to buy their tickets. I think they're saying they're 13 days away when you can start booking those flights out there. So, so we'll see. And, obviously we believe the Ravens can make the Super Bowl. I'm just wondering how genuine Dan Orlovsky is here.
Sure. I get it. We've been following this. There's been a trend. There's been a level of coverage that we've monitored closely on the national level, really since Dan declared, as you mentioned, Josh the winner. But this is a list right here. You would think that next year's Super Bowl winner is on this list. Obviously, it's just a matter of, can the Ravens avenge their demons in the month of January? And by the way, I mentioned a couple of those players, those key players that are coming down the tail ends of their rookie contracts, like in Isaiah Likely and Tyler Linderbaum. Kyle Hamilton obviously should be in that list as well, even though this isn't a contract year for him. It's an extension year for him. You think that an extension is going to get done. Maybe it gets done before the season, Sarah. Who knows? A lot of deals have gotten done, by the way, in Jets land lately. We'll talk about another one outside of Garrett Wilson coming up later in the show and what that might mean for future corners, especially Nate Wiggins, should he continue to stack coming off his standout rookie year. But this is a window. This is a unique window of opportunity, and I really view it as one that is always going to be there with number 8. But to this degree, with the way that he has a supporting cast around him and how fundamentally sound they are in both phases, at least on paper right now, the time is now.
Meanwhile, Bobby, we know we just analyzed earlier this week the anonymous NFL executives' votes for top quarterbacks, and Lamar Jackson came in number 4 overall behind Joe Burrow. Well, it's that time of the year, and AP voters were also asked to rank quarterbacks. And again, despite Lamar coming off that MVP caliber season, although Burrow did also get some MVP chatter at the end, mainly for his stats, not for enough wins, they put together a bunch of voting from 8 AP voters, and they have Lamar as the second best quarterback in the AFC North and 4th in the league. And yes, just like that anonymous executives list, the AP voters have Joe Burrow ahead of Lamar Jackson, which is just ridiculous. So I was looking at their voting scales. It's only 8 voters. They had Patrick Mahomes first, then they went Josh Allen, then Joe Burrow, then Lamar Jackson. That actually mirrors the ESPN executives list exactly, but they were a little bit more detailed on who got what votes. So Josh Allen got 3 second place votes, 1/3 and 2/4. Burrow received a second place vote, 2/3 and 3/4. But then Lamar got 1 second place vote, 4/3, 2/4, and a 5th. Again, how anybody can honestly watch Lamar Jackson and what he has done for the Baltimore Ravens since he came into this league, and then went ahead last year and had arguably his best season ever after already winning 2 MVPs, that again, not only do you have an AP or you have an executive from the NFL saying he's a 5th, and now you have an AP voter. Like, what is happening? Why? I don't understand why so many people seem down on Lamar after what just happened last year. But the more I read into it, these AP voters seem to putting a lot of stock into the playoffs, right? It says right there in Lamar's write-up. But they talk about how good Lamar was last year, but Jackson, the Ravens, fell short in the playoffs again. Okay, fair. So then you put Josh ahead of them because Lamar and the Ravens lost to Josh and the Bills. I still think Lamar's better than Josh, but I get the argument for it. So you're holding the playoffs against Lamar, but not Joe Burrow, who hasn't even made the playoffs since 2021? Like, it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I'm not really receptive to any argument of Lamar being outside of the top 3, which is where he falls here. You know, like you just mentioned, the only way that it's justified is, what have you done for me lately with Josh? He beat him in the head-to-head, even though the Ravens beat themselves, and they found a way to win on their home turf in a brutal environment in a divisional game.
I think that – go ahead.
Mahomes, as we've discussed a couple times, you know, Mahomes, even though, you know, statistically he's inferior to a lot of these players in recent seasons, he's got to be number 1. He's earned that right. And then I'm also receptive, like you said, you could see the argument that could be had for Josh. But I just I can't even listen to one that has Burrow ahead of Lamar.
No, it's nasty work. That's what it is. It's nasty work. And so it's interesting. So on First Things First, they were discussing, you know how Nick Wright usually does Mahomes Mountain, that whole thing?
Yeah. Well,
Nick Wright's, I think he's out. I don't know if he's on vacation or what. So they have somebody filling in, and they called it Perkins Peak. Okay. And I'm not going to play the whole segment, but they get to Brew. And Perkins Peak had Burrow ahead of Lamar Jackson also. And Brew just tore it apart. He tore it apart, and it's just a fun listen to. And dang it, I wish I could get him on the show. And you know what? Voltron's helped out. I tweeted at him that there is no way he missed all the tags from everybody that was chiming in, trying to get him to come on the show. You made a good point that it was in the middle of the NBA playoffs, and he covers that. He's basketball player. So wish we could have had him on. Maybe we're still in the future, but he nails it here about how you cannot put Burrow ahead of Lamar Jackson.
Seeing Lamar Jackson next to Justin Herbert is nasty work. I mean, you just can't have that, all right? But you can't have Joe Burrow ahead of Lamar Jackson, period. All right? And here's why. I'm going to show you last year's production. Okay. This is just passing the football. Let's see both of them. Lamar dusted him in passer rating. Everything else is pretty much a wash, and Burrow was great last year. But here's the thing, yards per pass, obviously Lamar's got him.
This is just passing.
That's the thing. Well, and first let me throw this at you. One of the reasons Burrow's numbers, at least in yards per game, are probably so prolific is because with that defense behind a lot, in a lot of shootouts, you got to throw the ball. Not to mention he's got arguably the best duo of receivers in the league. Lamar clearly doesn't have that, and yet the numbers passing were basically the same. That's not to mention Lamar running for 915 yards. All right, about almost 5 times more than Burrow. But then there's this. You might be saying, well, but in the playoffs, Burrow has been better. Obviously, beat Mahomes. Lamar hasn't been at his best in the playoffs. But at least Lamar gets to the playoffs. Yeah. All right, Burrow hadn't been in the playoffs since 2022. All right, so Lamar is getting there consistently and been getting better. Oh, and he's 6-1 against Joe Burrow head-to-head. Like, you just can't have. Team.
Burrow is doing more. He's got a
really more with less than Jamar Chase and T. Higgins
on the team. Who's the better team? Who's a better roster? The Ravens or the Bengals?
Bengals don't have a defense.
That's half the game.
But and Burrow, what's Burrow doing with him? Missing the playoffs? He hadn't been to the playoffs since 2022, as I said.
But he clearly was not the reason they didn't make the playoffs last year.
No, but it wasn't the reason they should have beat New England in game 1.
Could have beaten the Patriots.
You do that, you're in the playoffs.
Okay. Could have converted. So he had a bad week 1.
Jaden didn't have any defense either. Jaden Daniels.
That is true.
Yeah.
He nailed so much there, Bobby. He's like, oh, he's doing more with less. You mean there's less with Chase, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins? Like, he's doing more with those guys. Those guys are less. The only thing that I wish that Brew would not concede, and I've talked about it here, because the Ravens traditionally are so good on defense, everybody keeps conceding that. But last year, I've said it once, I've said it twice, maybe 3 times, I'll say it again. Quarterback betrayal index. The special teams and the defense betrayed Lamar Jackson the most through, I think, week 15, week 16, and finally Joe Burrow took the edge, and then he ended up being the most betrayed quarterback, but Lamar was neck and neck with him by the end of the season. And so Brew conceded that point, but no, the Ravens had the 31st ranked pass defense last year, and Brew just let that go. Other than that, I thought he was excellent.
Our audience should take note that Nick Wright was not in the chair. He must have been on a vacation.
Yes.
Imagine that.
Vacation, or I thought they said he was like went to go speak somewhere or something. I don't know.
Okay. So. Well, there you have it. And here they all are. All 4 of them. Take your pick. Who's going to dethrone Mahomes? Remains to be seen. Jalen Hurts, I guess, for the time being. But who's going to be the AFC quarterback to dethrone Mahomes?
Look at all the green in Lamar Jackson's column for the audio-only audience. Bobby's displaying the stats of these 4 quarterbacks side by side. And it's like whoever has the best in that stat category is green. Look at all the green with Lamar. But don't worry, Bobby. Somebody thinks that he's the 5th best quarterback in the league.
And as Mina pointed out, he got a 6th vote in a different outlet that we covered recently. I can't remember what it was. A 6th vote. And it prompted her to tweet. She says there's a clear and obvious big 4 in the NFL right now, and I think you can defend putting the 3 outside of Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, Burrow, in any order. Now, that would disagree with that wouldn't line
Burrow.
up with what we just
I would
said.
agree that you could right now, based off of last year, disagree with Josh Allen. I just don't see the Joe Burrow thing yet.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And it's not it's not calling him not elite. I think he's elite.
All 4 of these guys are elite.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. It's what has he done in comparison to the other 2 over the last couple of years? And as you just heard there on the segment, he hasn't made the postseason since 2022. Was it because of the defense last year? Yes. But the Ravens could have very well, had it not been for Lamar's heroic efforts and the entire offense, heroic efforts, they could have very well not overcome what you just mentioned, the 31st ranked pass defense, but they found a friggin' way even after going 0-2.
Lamar overcame it. Burrow did not. And Bobby, could you imagine the rankings if Lamar Jackson hadn't made it to the playoffs since 2022?
He wouldn't even be in the if we're following this, then if we're following this approach, he'd probably be outside the top 10 according to some of these people.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Anyway.
Let me clarify one thing from earlier on too, because I mentioned like that whole contract year when I was talking about some of the rookies. So obviously Isaiah's in the middle of a contract year. Tyler Linderbaum's 5th-year option was declined because of the ridiculous number for centers. And then Kyle Hamilton's 5th-year option was exercised with the hope of an extension coming in the near future. Just wanted to make sure I clarified that to be thorough. Get through some super chats before we turn a page.
Yep.
About 15 minutes out from Park Heights Prophet joining us live for the very first time, which we're looking forward to. Douglas H. Brown Sr. has had a very active start to this live stream, and he writes, "This is for the love Romy Raven gave me." So maybe he became a channel member because of Romy's efforts. Not sure what that represents, but Eric Hill has gifted a channel membership. So one new subscriber now has access to the vaultpod.com and now can become more involved with the channel as an official Voltron. And looky here, I missed this on the way in, but as promised, as he continues to do for probably over a week now, close to it maybe, Park Heights Prophet drops an orange banner. That's a $20 super chat, Sarah, in advance of his guest feature.
He says, you know what it is? One day closer to Santa Clara, 53 days before Buffalo, 13 days until I can buy my plane ticket for Cali. The hate for Lamar is real, but the Vault love is real. Football is back. Let's go.
Looking forward to catching up with him in a few minutes. Eric Hill, on top of what he's already donated, says, good afternoon, everyone. Bojita, I just realized we are not too far from each other, but I have a question. What should be my first Ravens game? Okay. Excuse me. Sounds like Eric has some upstate New York residency here. But what should be his first Ravens game? I mean, there's a lot of great ones on the calendar.
He's trying to get everybody to the Monday night against Detroit.
Yeah, that's a hard one to not persuade people to go to. Monday night, Lions, Ravens. They've smacked Detroit in recent years. And I'd be surprised if it happens again. But then again, what do they do on primetime games? Especially against elite competition like they did to Buffalo last year? They smack them. So we'll see what happens. That's a good one to choose from, Eric. Jared Thomas, Sarah, for you.
Sarah Ellison be flaming Lamar haters.
That's a funny one. Adam Legend. Chris Russo should be barred from NFL discussion. Last year, he said the NFL top 100 was bogus because players don't know ball. Now he has Matt Stafford over Lamar because of the 2021 Super Bowl. Enough. He said some outlandish things last night. I'm a big fan of Mad Dog, but he said some outlandish things. He was all over the map last year when it came to Lamar.
Yeah, he really was. Remember, for 2 weeks, he said Lamar was better than everybody, and the next week he's like, no, he's trash. He's so extreme. Yes.
Very wishy-washy, for sure.
Yeah.
Justin Holt is celebrating 2 months of channel membership, and I saw on the back end of one of our distribution services that he's already been on the vaultpod.com making his haul, so thank you, Justin.
Nice. Thanks for all the remarkable content you two bring. Killing it in mid-July. Peace and blessings to everyone in the chat. Hashtag replay gang.
It is pretty cool to be doing what we're doing in the offseason, and it literally is all because of you guys. Jared says, on top of what he just said about you flaming Lamar haters, says, Sarah, the Burrow thing is because of the prior Super Bowl, meaning they're still giving him love for the Super Bowl appearance in which Cincinnati lost a few. What have they done since then?
I definitely think that's part of it. And I think the other part of it is just that he's more of a traditional quarterback that I think just some people have a bias for.
Stylistically, they lay down for it. And it's the prototypical quarterback love. I don't know why they aren't able to. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mel is a channel member, and here's a $10 super chat that's attached for you.
Once people get their merchandise, encouraged to show it on social media with hashtag the vault to promote the show. This season is going to be a wild one. Much love and prosperity to the community. I totally agree.
Thanks, Mel.
And we got to wear ours frequently.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool. Like we've already kind of envisioned on week 1. But how about like the home opener when people are going into a day game at the bank and you're showing up with Vault gear.
I need to see that.
It's the first thing I think of is how many people, just by curiosity, are going to go up to a subscriber of ours that's rocking a piece of merch and be like, what is that? And what an opportunity for growth. What an opportunity for our subscribers to go rock it proudly. I know we're going to be proud watching that happen. So thanks, Mel, for the vision. Dreams writes, LJ has Henry gets held. Lamar having Derek gets held against him. Hurts has the top 5 wide receiver duo that gets held against him. Burrow has 2 number 1 wide receivers, but it doesn't get held against him. How is he third? Ginger, good points. Yeah. Ginger Seamus, Sarah, $2 super chat.
After yesterday, I had to show love. Thanks, Bobby and Sarah. We appreciate the love, Ginger.
Gosh, we've gotten messages and emails about yesterday. I think people were feeling that same level of gratitude that we were. And by the way, PHP, we're going to go a little bit probably past 12:45, I think, at this point. So if you can probably plan for 12:50 or so, thanks for your patience. Hopefully it's not screwing you up too much. We're just going to rip through these super chats and transition to our next topic and get you in afterwards. JP_Bug says touchdowns. Burrow and Jackson 45, Allen 40, Mahomes 28. That must be a total number.
That was,
right?
last
Lamar
year.
was 41 and 4. Well, 41 and 4 interceptions, but I also 41 and 41 passing touchdowns and 4 rushing, I believe is what
that's Lamar. Yep.
Yeah. C. Brittle, channel member.
She wants to know, how is Burrow higher than Jalen Hurts?
A lot of people are asking about Jalen. Douglas H. Brown Sr. says, Romy Raven said you all missed me earlier. We did miss you. Okay. So he's clarifying the earlier super chat. Eric Hill, Sarah, talking about where he's at.
Eric Hill says, I stayed in Newburgh. What is that, Bobby? Is it Newburgh?
Newburgh.
Newburgh. Oh, you do say the G. Yeah, Pittsburgh. So. Of course, because they spell it the way. Okay. I stay in Newburgh, about on 20 minutes south of Albany. I'm botching this. Okay. I stay in Newburgh, about 90 minutes south of the Albany area.
Chalk it up to limited sleep. I know where you are, Eric. That's awesome, man. Appreciate you representing. Love it. Colin Haney celebrating 2 months of channel membership. Can't wait for the PHP segment. Went to the website Monday night, got me a wheel snapback hat and a Vault t-shirt. I'm wearing it at the home opener. Let's go. I'm fired up about that. Let's go.
And you're going to post it on social media and tag us.
For sure.
You know what? There's going to be a day once people start getting it in. I'm just going to be like retweet people who are wearing the Vault t-shirts. Just on, if you're doing it on Twitter, I'm just going to retweet you.
Yeah, and I'll repost on other, Instagram and other accounts, and hopefully during my pregame show, some of you will call in. I'll be able to bring you on as a guest too. Looking forward to it. Show me Row, that Canadian dollar, Sarah. And yesterday I got myself in a little bit of hot water, didn't I? Here with Show Me Row, but here's the super chat for you.
He says, I've never seen one player live off of a championship loss in any sport like Burrow. Jimmy Butler dragged a mid-team to 2 NBA finals and nobody cares. LOL.
Yeah, that's Sarah, you ever seen the meme of Jimmy on the scorer's table? It's not the scorer's table, but it's like behind the hoop and it's right after the game and he had played his heart out and he's got his hands just like laying down, and everybody uses that meme from his Miami Heat squad that he literally willed to Rowe's point. He dragged them throughout the postseason for sure. Joe Jenkins writes, in my opinion, Mahomes and Jackson are 1A and 1B. The only difference is a toenail. The refs are also a huge difference, just being honest. Go Ravens and go O's with a lot of help from God and the O's. The Orioles need a lot of help.
That's true. I would say if you're talking about 2024, the 1A, 1B could be true, but obviously overall, Mahomes is the clear number 1 with all those rings. Yeah.
No doubt. We appreciate you guys for being here. Over 1,300 concurrents and a few moments away from bringing in Park Heights Prophet to join us for a live interview. If you haven't already done so, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're coming up on 25,000, by the way, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when we're dropping our daily live content. And while you're at it, channel members, patrons, and Discord members, please go check out thevaultpod.com. The password has been sent to you in various places where you can go check and officially have access to our soft launch over the next couple weeks. It's a full merch line, and we're off to a roaring start. And we want to thank you and Carly and our entire team for making this possible. Partner, where to?
Yeah, so the NFL Executive Anonymous voting continues, and the latest out is on inside linebackers, where we want to find out where Roquan Smith landed, but it is not a surprise. I mean, this list seems pretty fair to me. Fred Warner of the San Francisco 49ers was number 1, and then you got our guy, Roquan Smith. I'll get to the write-up in just a second. Zach Bond from the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 4 is Nick Bolton out of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'll just go through to number 5, Frankie Louvu, Washington Commanders. If you want to check out the rest of the top 5, feel free to go check out this article. But there is Roquan right there, still sitting there at number 2. And, I think considering what happened last year, especially on defense, this is a more than fair ranking with what Roquan has gotten here. And, the lowest ranking he got of all the voters was number 10, and the highest ranking he got was number 1. So, but he stays the same from last year, where he was also number 2 behind Fred Warner. So it's just a wide range of the rankings he got from 1 to 10. Here's
insane.
It really is insane that
you can Lamar, right? We thought Lamar down to 6 when we covered it earlier on was insane. 1 to 10 is pretty darn wide.
It's a large range, that's for sure. It's a large range. So here's the write-up on him. It says to fully appreciate Smith is to look past his numbers, they say. So this is a film study type of ranking from these guys. It says he's not the classic stat stuffer with modest production in the passing game, 4 deflections, 1 interception, and splash plays. So modest there. He says 1 forced fumble and 1.5 sacks. 4 of his 81 solo tackles were for a loss. So yeah, not eye-popping numbers there. But the article goes on, he's the type of player whom opponents and even fans inside the stadium or through the TV perceive as a true tone setter with blitz ability, leverage, and mental edge. Smith is coming off his 2nd consecutive first-team All-Pro season, and his run-stop percentage of 5.6, tackles at or behind the line of scrimmage on designed runs, was 2nd among all linebackers and the best among the top 10. Okay, so it's all pretty nice to this point. Now, here's one AFC executive that what he had to say about him. He said, Roquan isn't necessarily the most physically talented, but he's very productive in both phases and is the catalyst for their defense in the middle of the field, and a guy you have to account for in phases. When you factor all that, plus the elite leadership he brings and attitude for their team, I think he deserves to be up there. So my guess is this AFC executive gave him one of those higher rankings. But there's an NFL defensive assistant that called Roquan Smith out. And it's probably a hard truth that I think Roquan has already accepted. It says one NFL defensive assistant says he believes Smith can elevate his game by improving his conditioning. Two of his votes were at number 10. So not just one, but 2 people voted him number 10. Here's what this defensive assistant said. Quote, I think he needs to get in better shape. He looks a little sluggish at times, close quote. Bobby, pretty fair?
It is fair, and it's nothing that hasn't already been discussed and mentioned. We can probably all think about plays in our heads from last year where those adjectives or sluggish suffices, that matches up with what you saw on tape from Roquan. The reason why I refuse to sound the alarm bells right now and refuse to panic is 2 reasons. One, I think he was overcompensating through the first quarter of last year because of his running mate Trenton Simpson and how he wasn't fully up to speed. 2, you had Marcus Williams and Eddie Jackson making business decisions on the back end, leading to really all you know what breaking loose at times back there. And the underneath pass coverage was a problem for Roquan. We saw that week 1. I would have to think this defensive assistant, like everybody else was, watched that rematch of the AFC Championship game. It was was it in Kansas City last year? What was week 1? You're muted right now. It was in Kansas City, wasn't it?
Sorry, I was muted. The AFC Championship game was in KC.
Well, no, the AFC Championship game between the Ravens and Chiefs 2 years ago was in Baltimore. Where was week 1, the rematch last year?
Oh, my bad. Yes, that was also in KC.
Okay, thank you. I don't know why I'm blanking on that. So I'd have to think that the majority of the NFL world watched that game. And if this assistant did, he saw what we saw. It was a slow half step behind Roquan Smith, but I think there were reasons for that aside from just his conditioning. Is that fair?
I think it's fair. I think it was both. He was definitely overcompensating, and he was not in the shape we're used to seeing him in. But I will say this, Bobby, I think that this is true, but I think Roquan has already heard it. And we've already seen him report to OTAs and minicamp, and he already looks like he's returned to the physical shape we're used to seeing him in. And so the good news is that he's still an all-pro. He's still, by these guys ranked number 2 in a down year. So hopefully this motivates him, and I can tell it already has because of the physical shape he reported in at minicamp, that I think he's ready to get back at it and use this as a chip on his shoulder and be like, oh, you thought I lost a step? Okay, let's go.
I totally agree with that. And that's who Roquan is. He responds to adversity. He doesn't get insulted by it, although I said something last year that clearly set him off because he unfollowed me on Instagram. So I don't know what that was all about, and that doesn't necessarily speak to what I'm talking about right now, which is sort of this thick-skinned mentality. But everything you know about Roquan and everything we learned of him has never, ever suggested that. That was the first thing, and again, this was just a personal thing I've already talked about. I think it was on my personal channel. I think I mentioned it here once. That was one thing. Hopefully it's just a total small outlier. Because it did not represent what we knew and what we know of Roquan Smith.
Yes, and neither one of us gamble, but if I had to put money on it, I would predict a bounce back year for Roquan for sure. Let's get to a couple quick hits before we bring in PHP. So I saw this rumor going around in the AFC North. We've been covering it a little bit about how Lamar Stewart has been holding out from practice with the Cincinnati Bengals over a contract dispute and guaranteed money. And so here's that, really trendy at ML Football Twitter account. They've got breaking news with the Red Sirens and say Bengals first round pick Lamar Stewart left the team and went back to practicing with Texas A&M. Stewart now may not play in the NFL this season and return to Texas A&M and re-enter the draft in 2026. Lamar has been practicing with the Aggies all summer. Okay. Our girl, Kelsey Conway, who was an intern for our department when I was still working at the Ravens, and she has just moved up and up and up. She's doing great, and she's been on this show. And she covers the Bengals for the Cincinnati Enquirer. She tweets, "Let me clear this up for everyone. Lamar Stewart lives in Texas when he's not in Cincinnati. I can confirm from a source that he is training at A&M by himself using their facilities," puts in parentheses, very common. And Bobby, I can also say that is very common. It's very, so he's using their facilities to get ready for the upcoming NFL season, not with the Texas A&M team. She says, carry on. So I don't know how it went from what is normal for players to go back to their old school and to work out to this saying he's going to re-enter the draft. And actually, Bobby, I haven't refreshed myself on the rules, but I'm pretty sure that if you've been drafted, you can't just say oh, I didn't like that to be drafted by this team, so I'm going to re-enter the draft. The Bengals would still have his rights.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not how it works. Otherwise people would just be like, oh, I got drafted by the Cleveland Browns or what other poverty team there is. Oh, never mind. I don't want to declare anymore. I'm going to go back for my senior year or whatever. That's not how it works. So I don't know how that rumor went from one thing to another, but Kelsey Conway clearing it up.
Tell you what, Sarah, you know how with Emory Jones, one of the Ravens draft picks, the tackle out of LSU, if memory serves, you know how we've kind of been like, man, hope he's ready for training camp. Like, hope he has a chance to start fresh with all of his fellow rookies and kind of get a start from the jump. You know how we've been talking about that since we learned of the shoulder setback that he had this offseason that John Harbaugh talked about, what is weeks back now? Like, we've been discussing that for a while, the Emory Jones nugget. The Bengals are flirting with the same thing, except their player's not injured. And can you imagine if your first round pick is not a participant in training camp? It's one thing up until now. It's been contractual. We know it's all about guaranteed money, and we know what Cincinnati's doing. They are doing something they have never done before, and they're trying to make Shamar the guinea pig for a new rule, a new clause. And he and his representation are calling their bluff. Not a chance. We're not showing up until it goes back to the previous ruling.
By the way, I just want to
disaster.
I just want to clear up one. Yeah, they definitely are. I just want to clear one thing up. I was a little bit wrong. You can't re-enter the current draft. This is according to the AI overview. Very reliable. Says no, a player cannot simply re-enter the NFL draft if they don't like the team that drafted them. However, a player can refuse to sign with the team that drafted them, which would make them eligible for the following year's draft, though they may face a reduced draft position and a stigma. And so, yeah, I'll just put it that way. Like, if I'm another team, I'm like, do I want to draft somebody that was, refused to go to this other team?
Wow.
And maybe somebody would, because it's like, oh, I would give him that guaranteed money, So.
Oh. But again, like think about the difference in problems, like quote unquote problems. For the Ravens, you're just hoping that Emory Jones Jr. can get back healthy for a full training camp.
Mm-hmm.
In Shamar's case in Cincy, both sides are dug in.
Yep.
He may not be a part of his first ever training camp, and they need him. Now, their defensive front still has given the Ravens wreaked a bunch of havoc over the years. But Shamar's already a player that's been much maligned because of his lack of sack production at Texas A&M. So certainly a tumultuous start for their rookie, to say the very least.
Yeah, and real quick, the Jets and All-Pro cornerback Sauce Gardner agreed to terms for a massive new contract yesterday, according to Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network. It's a 4-year, $120.4 million deal, which is $30.1 million per year. To put that in context, Bobby, that $30.1 million per year, Marlon Humphrey, who signed an extension with the Ravens several years ago now, he's now been knocked down to number 9 on the list of highest paid corners. He's at 19.5. And then the Ravens, other 3, where everybody's feeling pretty good about the depth and price, Jair Alexander at $4 million, Chido Awuzie at $1.2 million, and then Nate Wiggins still on his rookie contract as a first rounder at $3.2 million. So all of them combined don't even come close to Sauce's $30.1 million. Sauce, of course, deserving of it, but it just goes to show you what happens with the NFL contract cycle.
Hey, if I'm Nate Wiggins, I'm like, all right, great. I just put forth an awesome rookie season. The sky's the limit. Let me go chase after this. Let me just go continue to stack. And you get the sense he's going to have a chance to do that after year 1. What do you got here?
Just while we're talking about Sauce, he did have 1 interception last year, and so did Michael Pierce. So should Michael Pierce have retired? Look at the money Sauce is getting with the 1 interception.
That's hysterical. Yeah, you know what Sauce is all about, though. They just don't throw his way. That's why he doesn't get a lot of picks.
Yes. Also, the Chiefs and their guard, Trey Smith, finalized a 4-year, $94 million extension. So he's now the highest paid guard. And look at Patrick Mahomes' reaction. Yeah. Big smiley face. Big smiley face. So building around Patrick Mahomes. And then I think this is the last one, Bobby. On the left, we see Zay Flowers. Looks like he got some work in with OBJ, his former teammate, and a receiver we've talked about already, Jamar Chase over there on the left. And I can't tell who else is in there, but those are some of the main guys. And on the right, that looks like DeAndre Hopkins skydiving. So
is he really?
that's what it looks like from his Instagram stories. So listen, he's living it up before he has to report. And then, no, this is the last quick hit. Top 10 NFL defense since 2000. The top 10 NFL defense. This is according to the Pro Football Sports Network. Look how many times they have a Ravens defense. And this is why everybody thinks that Lamar had a good defense last year. Number 1 on this list, 2000 Ravens. Number 4 on this list, so underrated, the 2006 Ravens. Tied for number 8 on this list is the 2008 Baltimore Ravens. And the number 10 on this list is the 2003 Baltimore Ravens. We were living in a golden era of defense. And I was here for almost all of it starting in 2005.
Which is why the first half of last year was so jarring, right?
Yes.
To view them on the literal opposite side of all historical rankings, or at least 2024 rankings at that. So good stuff. Shall we?
It's that time.
I think so. I think it is. Let's do a proper introduction here because I think he deserves it. We've got over 1,600 concurrents at the moment. Glad you guys could be with us on this Wednesday. If you could like the video, subscribe. We're coming up on 25,000 subscriptions. If you haven't already, hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership because that'll give you early access to our soft launch. This is day 3 since thevaultpod.com went live. It's our official merch store, so go check it out. But Sarah, we're probably going back months now that a guy named Park Heights Prophet entered the picture, entered the chat, entered the island. And my, oh my, did he take the live chat by storm. He has become a staple of this show. He's been extremely generous in the form of super chats and gift-giving memberships. He's been a motivating factor. He's been somebody that is clearly breathes, eats, sleeps, lives Ravens football. And for the first time, we're going to have a chance to meet him face-to-face in this virtual interview. So without further ado, Park Heights Prophet joins us right now live. What's going on, PHP in the flesh?
Ma, the meatloaf!
There he is.
What's
Let's get
going
a big
on?
screen. Big screen, baby. You got it, man.
He's got a mask on for the audio-only audience. PHP, I thought we were going to meet you face-to-face. We're not ready for that yet, though, huh?
Yeah. Like Lamar is going to do when we go 20-0. He is going to shred the narrative of who he is. And so today, I shred the narrative. Park Heights Prophet is here. He is here. Hello, Voltrons.
Let's go.
Let's go, PHP.
Let's go.
Just a friend of the show, a fan of the team. My Ravens roots go deep from day one. I've been a fan. Day one.
Oh, man. This is so exciting for us, PHP. Like, just to see the face. Again, the audio people didn't see it, but he just took off his mask. I love the theatrics on all of this, We're so happy to finally meet you. And just thank you face-to-face for how generous you've been.
Yeah.
My donation is your donation. The vault is one organism just moving together. Working our way to Santa Clara.
Hey, we see that edge up you got for the show too. Look at him, Sarah. He came ready to go. Let's go.
This is my regular. This is just a regular day. It's a regular day.
Okay. All right. Well. Listen. Can you expand a little bit on that as you're comfortable doing, just in terms of your fandom and your background and anything else you'd like to share to kind of kick this thing off?
So I go all the way back to the Give Baltimore the Ball game. If some of you remember that, if you were in the Baltimore area, it was the preseason game before we got a team between the Dolphins and the Saints. And so I think that was like 1994 and 95. And so when the Ravens first came to Baltimore, before the season even started, thanks to my mom, she worked at a radio station at the time, my cousin and a bunch of my friends got to play against the Ravens in a charity basketball game at Hartford Community College in Bel Air. Now, I will say this. There was a couple of linemen out there, including Zeus. Zeus was out there, Orlando Brown Sr. And so we were doing good for the first half of the game. We were probably up like 10 or 15 points. We were 15, 16 years old, dunking, shooting threes. And then somebody came in at halftime. Michael Jackson, the wide receiver, who has since passed away, rest in peace. He came in at halftime, pulled up in his drop-top Mercedes, got out, put some sneakers on, and proceeded to look like Michael Jordan in his prime against us. He was dunking from the free throw line. He was shooting. He blocked one of my shots and knocked me into the wall. The ref just looked at me and walked away. And so I think we ended up winning by like 2 points, only because Michael Jackson didn't make it until halftime. But if he was there the entire game, it would have been a slaughter. And so I take my fandom all the way back to there, right? Memorial Stadium. I was there for the snow game against Minnesota. I was there for the Joe Flacco game when Polamalu blitzed off the edge and we were screaming from the stands to look out for him. And so I've been into a million games. I've been a fan the entire time. I saw that 2000 defense. I saw that 03. But me and my brother talk about it all the time. That 2006 defense should have won a Super Bowl. They honestly might have been better than the 2000 defense, but they get all the accolades because of how they played that season.
Yeah, the Super Bowl helps. Okay, so PHP, you've started, I think within the last week, this 20-0 campaign for the Ravens, going undefeated all the way up to the Super Bowl. I know you have some thoughts behind that. Tell us why you're so confident in your prediction.
The only team that has beaten the Ravens are the Ravens. And so there's not a team in the NFL that I can see, unless, for some reason they start an expansion league or something. There's no team that can beat us except for us. We fumble. We throw interceptions. We look out of sorts. We don't run the ball. We do everything possible to not win the game sometimes. And so the losses we've had in the last couple of years have all been at the hands of us. And so with the exception of maybe the Eagles game last year, which was really Justin Tucker's swan song for us. Outside of that, who has beaten us? The Bills didn't beat us. Mark Andrews dropped it. Think about all the Steelers games that we lost, where we look like a team who forgot how to play football. And so us going 20-0, looking at the schedule, I saw a team when I was in Buffalo that was angry but resolved. And so the team I saw coming off the field, if you remember in 2023, when we lost that AFC Championship game, and Lamar was sitting on the bench and OBJ was talking into his ear. And so that was different than what I saw this year in Buffalo. So after Mark Andrews fumbled that initial fumble and he's on the bench and he's knocking the ball into the ground and he kept kicking his leg into the bench and knocking back into the bench, I saw Lamar Jackson just walking around, picking everybody up, telling them we're going to make it, telling them we're going to do it. And even after the drop, they're coming back to the bench. I'm sitting right behind the bench. And so watching that team, it wasn't a team that said, oh, no, we've let it slip away. It was a team that said, we will be back. And so because they have that mindset, because Lamar has taken, I think, another step as a leader, if we lose a game this season, it won't be because there's a team that's better than us. It'll be because we've forgotten who we are.
Well said, PHP. The super chats are flying in for you, so let's get to some of these. David writes, the PHP unmasking is everything we needed and more. Just to be clear, on the improv that went into that, Sarah and I had no clue that was happening. We did not choreograph this show prior to starting. So good on you, PHP. That was hysterical. Your girl Tila says, shout out to PHP. She drops in a super chat. Tim Hughes writes, damn, PHP, it's not every day I find someone who has been a fan longer than me, brother. Well done. Well done. And D-Row 00 or Dro 00 says, I'm with PHP. They're going undefeated. So as you see, and here comes Big E3 says too, he says, how PHP get on before Rave? It's bad as Fa'alele. People are mad. You got the platform right now, man. Where do you want to take this conversation? What's on your mind right now? And what do you think of this community?
So first of all, I love the vault, right? I have to credit Sarah and Bobby that not only when I first met my wife years ago, she was a Commanders or Redskins at the time fan. And so I slowly brought her along to a, well-run, good franchise. And now she's a Ravens fan. But so I used to listen to the Vault and other podcasts, sports radio while we were driving. And she would always say, how can you just sit there and listen to people talk? Like you watch the game. Why would you want to hear people then talk about the game? And so now when we leave games, if we're taking a long trip, she'll say, put on the Vault. And so the minute we leave the stadium, she's like, put on the Vault, put on the Vault, put on the post-game live. And so now you have have helped me bring my wife along to the place where she now listens to podcasts. And so I know she's watching right now on YouTube. But you saved my marriage, Sarah and Bobby. You saved it. You saved it. And so I can't be more grateful. But the Vault community, I've been listening since day one in the audio format, watching it grow from 15 minutes to 30 to an hour to 2 hours yesterday, and just seeing everybody. It took a while for I could get in the live chat just because of work and everything. But anytime I can get in there, I love being in there. But I saw somebody put something in there a minute ago. It was a super chat trying to somehow cradle and coddle Joe Burrow even more. From somebody named M.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I'll get it for you.
Yeah, pull it up, because it needs to be addressed immediately.
Oh, he's ready to go. Let's go.
I mean, Burrow made it to an AFC championship the following year, but it don't fit y'all narrative.
Hey,
and the 2-year thing is
read this
disingenuous.
While you read this, so we can all see you, can you bring yourself up a little bit?
Yeah.
On the camera? There we go.
Here we go.
And the year 2 thing is disingenuous when the guy was injured one year. Oh, Cincinnati. I don't know what's in the water in that town. It's probably because they're so close to Kentucky. But when I was there, we were in the stadium. I had their fans yell to me that you've got to go to a Super Bowl to win it. And so the mentality of that team is, yay, we made it to the Super Bowl. They are happy with appearances because they've never tasted the glory of the Lombardi. And so this kind of conversation from M is what I expect from Cincinnati fans. They're like a guy on the bus stop telling me that my Rolls Royce doesn't look the right way. Shut up. You don't know what it's like to be in my situation. You've never held that Lombardi. There's never been a parade through the streets of Cincinnati. Not one time has there been a Lombardi come to the mistake by Kentucky. And so Cincinnati fans are some of the worst I've ever been around. They were happy that they had made it. Just thrilled to beat Tyler Huntley. So every time I see somebody from Cincinnati, I tell them the same thing. It's no fun playing Lamar, is it? And that's what I yelled as I walked out of the stadium in 2023 when we played them week 2. And so they lost. And I said, it's no fun playing Lamar, is it? Tyler Huntley's not out there. Josh Johnson's not out there. You've beaten Lamar one time when he had Deontay Freeman and what was it, Le'Veon Bell running the ball. And so they like to live in the past. I had a ham sandwich when I was in 5th grade. Doesn't mean I'm not hungry today. Stop living in the past, Cincinnati. Let it go. Let it go.
My man's got time. Sarah, we didn't even see this super chat. He's keeping receipts. He's doing our job for us.
Nonsense. It's nonsense to the highest degree. Cincinnati and Buffalo are 2 of the worst fan bases I've ever seen.
Oh, well, we need to give you we need to give you the platform because Buffalo, because when you emailed us, you said you also wanted to address Buffalo. Like, what's on your mind there?
First of all, Cleveland is not the mistake by the lake. That's Buffalo. It's a city with no infrastructure, who's known for buffalo wings, right? They don't do anything. They don't have anything. And not to mention every American. If you call yourself an American, you should hate the city of Buffalo. Why, you might ask? President William McKinley was assassinated in Buffalo. And so it's a town known for nothing but trouble. Nothing but trouble. And so I was at that game. I've never been in a worse stadium. It's not even a high school stadium. It's like a boys and girls club, but really, really big. They had no entertainment. There was no fanfare. The fans were listless and lifeless. And so they stole that from us, unfortunately, because of Mark Andrews. But I've never been among worse fans than Cincinnati and Buffalo. Just teams with no heritage, no pride, no story to tell. There's nothing to talk about in Buffalo. What are you going to talk about? Oh, we went to the Super Bowl. Oh, Josh Allen almost beat Patrick Mahomes. They're living off of almost. They get so much credit. Burrow gets credit for the past. Allen gets credit for 13 seconds he would have beat Mahomes. Yes, sure. If I had wings, I would fly. But I don't.
And if Mark Andrews caught a pass, maybe the Ravens would have gone there.
Yes. If Zay doesn't fumble. But nobody ever says that for Lamar. Mm-hmm. Nobody ever mentions that for Lamar. The narratives around our quarterback at times baffle me. They leave me befuddled. Everything that used to be is no longer when he comes on the scene. Now he's got 2 MVPs. MVPs don't matter. Now he almost leads in passer rating. Passer rating doesn't matter. Now he's got a good team. We've got to hold that against him. He's got an allegedly washed up running back. Well, now he is the greatest running back to ever run the football in the history of man. And so because Allen had no help, we've got to give him the MV pity. We've got to give him the MV pathetic. And so next year, I'm sure they'll craft some narrative about Burrow. Well, because he likes his clam chowder with crackers, he's got to be the MVP. This is sickness. It's a sickness running through the media right now. The hate for Lamar. I wish I could phrase it and call it something. It's hate 8. I think hate 8 might be the best way to call it. They hate 8. I don't know why. I wish I could understand what the problem is. But here we sit with the greatest quarterback playing the game right now. And somebody's ranking him 6th. They ranked him 6th. They ranked our quarterback 6th. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't want to get it. I don't want to live in a world where right is wrong and left is right. I don't want to be there, guys. I don't want to live there.
This guy is preaching right now. You got the live chat in a frenzy. Romy Raven writes, request Roquan versus PHP in a speak off.
Boom.
Are you accepting this request?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Nakia,
if you want, I can leave you with something. I'll leave you with something to fire up the masses before I go.
Well, wait a second, though. You got to stick around for all these super chats because they're all.
No, I wasn't leaving. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, okay.
All right, go ahead. You keep going.
Yeah, and so again, I've been in multiple cities. Pittsburgh, another trash town. They played Renegade. I felt nothing. I'm like, this is supposed to be your magnum opus. This is supposed to inspire fear in my heart. Nothing. Just like steel. Doesn't matter anymore. Nobody wants it. And so here they are, waving their towels, looking at me. Nothing. I talked so much trash when I got to Pittsburgh that my cousin was like, hey, stop.
Yeah.
Because you got to be careful.
I stopped, right? I stopped. I sat down. I was like, all right, man, it's just the two of us here. No problem. And then when I stopped, they were like, hey, you're not saying anything. I was like, let's go.
Don't tempt me.
Yeah, there we go. Same with Vegas. We went to Vegas for that opening Monday Night Football game, that disaster.
Yeah.
And Ronnie Stanley was out there on not even a full ankle.
Yeah.
Another terrible scene. Terrible scene.
Oh, yeah. Look at these. Let's rip through some of these. I mean, we got the Mexican currency flying in from Manuel. He says, PHP, you want to join my coaching staff, so you got an offer to join his staff. Douglas H. Brown Sr. says, love PHP so much. Thank you for being our leader. Draydog679 says, talk your ish, brother. Let him know. Jackie remembers that you were the reason for her original Voltron membership. Love your generosity and how you fire us up. Here's to 20-0. Can you please tell people where you find it in your heart or your account to show us all so much love with the way that you – here's the thing, dude. And everybody's got to know this when you gift give.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure there's a part of it that's stimulating to you, right? You're giving other folks an opportunity to get more involved with the channel. But we got to tell you this right now. You are growing this channel. Everybody that gives, everybody that does the small things like liking the video and subscribing, you guys are all taking part in this channel's growth. And so we just want to take this opportunity, which is really the reason why we wanted to bring you on to begin with, to say thank you. So where do you find it in that big darn heart of yours?
Well, listen, like I said, the vault changed my life, changed my marriage. I'm on an upward trajectory now. I was headed for divorce court. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
But it did get my wife into listening to the podcast. And so that was a win for me. And then, like I said, I've been there from the beginning. I've listened to the content. I love when you guys were having Roquan on. And so for me, it's just having a good time with the vault members, just like I do when I'm at a game, right? When I'm at a game, I want to have a good time. I'm here with my people. And so because I'm such a huge Ravens fan, anything Ravens involved, I'm gonna help it grow. I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna take it to where it needs to be.
Lady Laura Baltimore celebrating 2 months of channel membership. Sarah, I'll let you take this one.
She says, I love this family that I chose. PHP from all of us that you gifted. Thank you. Thanks, Bobby and Sarah. I bet you are like, because I know you've given hundreds of gifts. I don't know how many people are renewing, but I bet there's a large percentage of people in green that started green because of you.
Well, I just hope they renew, right?
Yeah.
As we always say in the chat, make sure you renew. It's good to get the gift, but then you got to renew. So it's just paying it forward, right?
Here's another one. We appreciate that sentiment. Big O celebrating 2 months of channel membership. He says, Sarah, you love yourself some Bart Scott. Matter of fact, hold on. PHP, you take this one right here.
Yeah, let PHP.
Oh, my. We will be going in big time on Bills Mafia week 1 in the Bart Scott voice. Can't wait.
Julio is celebrating 1 month of channel membership, and he says thank you. So perhaps you were on the he was on the receiving end of one of your gifts. Tiny Tim Gaming says an almost killed bird don't make no stew. Nakia, we've already referenced Romy and Nakia getting you all fired up. And Tori Edwards for you, Sarah. It's a $20 super chat and an orange banner.
Burrow has made the playoffs only when Lamar was hurt. But when healthy, they don't even make the playoffs. Keep preaching, brother. Wait, that's true. 2021 and 2022 are the 2 years Lamar was injured.
I wasn't even going to bring that up. I wasn't even going to bring that up. So Josh Allen is a wild card merchant and a 1 yard line merchant. And Joe Burrow is a Tyler Huntley merchant. Okay? They only live to survive when Tyler Huntley's in the game. The Bengals have lived off of that playoff win over Tyler Huntley for 4 years. For 4 years now, they've lived off of Tyler Huntley's mistake. And so that's why I can't respect them as a franchise. At least Pittsburgh has beat us. At least Cleveland has beat us a couple of times. But Cincinnati skating by against our backups? Jamar Chase running free against Anthony Averett? I don't want to hear that. That's not a conversation that should make it to my ears. Come on.
Oh,
That's nothing.
I love how you're just pulling these little pieces out of your memory bank, like the Anthony Averett one. By the way, I know you loved this right here. Speaking of the Josh Allen merchant comment that you just referenced, and Sarah retweeted this, and we had it on a slide earlier this week. But Lamar had zero rush attempts inside the 5 yard line last season, and say no more, right, on that one.
And more than half of more than half of Allen's was from inside the 5.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you go back and read that article, when it comes to Josh Allen, it's a bit total yards, but they don't mention total touchdowns. And so it's 4,000 plus total yards, 40 touchdowns. So it doesn't delineate the touchdowns from the yards. And so anything they can do, I'm just so happy that Lamar Jackson has broken the brains of the national NFL media. Because here it goes where total touchdowns don't get counted for him, but they get counted for other people. And so in that article, they don't mention his 900 rushing yards, but they mention Josh Allen's 500 or 600 yards. They mention Josh Allen is 40 total touchdowns, but they emphasize his Lamar's 41 passing touchdowns. And so never in the history of life have someone been the best player and not won MVP, with the exception of a few NBA. I know somebody's going to bring up the Jokic conversation, but that's neither here nor there. But that's another pity MVP.
Dre Dog 679 with a super chat, putting on his legal hat here. The views and opinions expressed on this live by PHP do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the vault. PHP, do you have any comments on Dre Dog's content brainstorming that he's done in recent days?
This guy is amazing. So apparently Dre Dog had discovered me a bit earlier, and we have a slight connection, a slight church connection. So I know he's a good dude, and his content. I mean, maybe me and Dre Dog need to do like the PM slot of the vault. Just get on at like 9 o'clock and do like 15 minutes. And so he's got tons of ideas, right? So I got to
tell you, I don't want to make any promises here, but did we just find our guy to cover for us when we're on vacation last week? Right. Our two guys.
So the background PHP is that Bobby and I were like, okay, we are really happy with the 10-day dark period that we just took in July. It's the only time that Bobby and I are both out and it's planned. And so we were like, but next year we need to do like interviews to see if we have people who take on one day or maybe multiple days. And so we will be putting out a call, and it could be other content creators that are already out there or whatnot. But yeah, we may do that next year when we're out during July.
I'll have a replica Lombardi behind me when we do.
Let's go.
Here we go.
I'll put up a picture of me in Santa Clara.
I was gonna say right now it looks like you're in a very discreet location.
Woo!
Mike M says
Mark Clayton bringing in some heavy super chats. I'll let you get there in just a second.
Okay, Mike M. You are so funny. You're always first to react because I'm cycling through the
You're
order.
in the start, which
Right.
because you're cycling through it. I'm in the live, so I can see them as they come in.
Right.
Yeah.
Mike M, we better hurry up. Mike M said, shout out PHP for your generosity and energy. And also, we'll hop on this bandwagon. Mrs. PHP, great to have you here as well, watching us. As you mentioned, your wife.
Does she comment, PHP? Is she ever in the live chat?
Nah.
Oh, we got to convert her into that too then. That's our next goals. We have life goals around here.
For real. Jane, for you, PHP.
Oh, is Mrs. PHP going to the Detroit Baltimore tailgate? Also, hi PHP. Hey Jane, of course she'll be there. Of course. I don't go to the game. I don't go to a game without her, except for maybe there's one game she doesn't want to go to that I think I'm going to. Other than that, she's always with me. And so the Detroit tailgate, I've mentioned it a million times. I had to break the news to her. So she doesn't watch every day. And, so I'm like, hey, by the way, the Detroit game we're going to, there might be a lot of people over at the table. Yeah. There's a slight possibility there could be a lot of people at the table. So all good. All good. We'll work out menu and all that. But yeah, the Detroit game, we will be in the house. I've got my Lot G parking pass already. And so I will be there.
You and I will talk now that we have each other's emails and whatnot, and maybe we can exchange numbers and whatnot. We can talk about ways to collaborate this upcoming season. Lecky T's a channel member, Sarah, and a $2 super chat's attached.
It says, keep cooking PHP with the podcast.
Oh, everybody's loving your appearance. Guru has become our newest channel member. So now Guru has access to the vaultpod.com, which just dropped earlier this week. Davon Smith's in the building. This is for you, PHP. Hit it.
Yo! I've been watching the show since after you guys started live format. This is already one of my favorite episodes to date. Shout out, is it Bojita?
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, Bojita, Sarah Fierce, and the one and only PHP.
Oh, this is hysterical. Taking on a new life of its own the last couple of days. Tiny
I like
Tim
my
Gaming.
nickname better than yours. You got Bojita and I get Sarah Fierce. Yes.
We got to come up something good for you for sure. Tiny Tim Gaming has become our newest channel member. Thanks, Tim. Welcome. And Gregory Lee has dropped in a $4.99 super chat. Sarah, should we give it to PHP? It's your turn. Who should we give it to?
It looks like one for him. Let's go.
Let's go. We ready. PHP killing it. My wife was a cowgirl when I met her 6 years ago, and she's a Raven. And so good for you, Greg, because having a wife who's a Cowboys fan's got to be rough. I mean, she's always sad. When is she ever happy? A team that brings nothing but misery. So good for her for converting. That's the same thing I told my wife. Like, she was Commanders. First of all, I was at the game when RG3 got hurt. And so we were at that game, the Super Bowl year. And being in that stadium it's almost as bad as Buffalo. Like, I don't even know if people were there to watch a football game. The environment there was like going to watch a movie or something. No tailgating, no excitement. I mean, they've got a brand new rookie quarterback. And so, good on her. And Cowboys, they got that new stadium, but Jerry Jones needs to give it up.
It can be strange watching football in Vegas, right? They just moved from Oakland to Vegas. Allegiant is sick, but it's like Vegas as an entertainment venue is weird. Like, the people that are in there, are they all there to be diehard football fans? Not typically.
Well, so when we went to Vegas, that was the first game it opened. That Monday Night Football game was the first game they had in there after COVID. And so we get there. I was with my wife, my cousin, and his wife. And so I got there, and I said, let's walk through the tailgate. And my cousin was like, no. And I was like, no, we're going to walk through the tailgate. I was like, we are from Baltimore. We go where we want. And so we walked through the tailgate and just, having a good time with the fans there. Now, I will say, those were people from Oakland. And they let me know, Ravens, okay. But they said if you had on a 49ers jersey, it'd be a different conversation. Right. And so I took their word for it. We had a good time in Vegas outside of, a few incidents that I won't get into right now, unless you want to hear the story about me throwing my jersey off and yelling at people.
I really do, but we are up against the clock. So let's save ourselves some time here to dig into that at a future episode. Biggie 3's in the building. He says, not offended. This better be a collab coming. Hey,
Biggie
listen,
is upset he didn't get in first because he wanted to tell his weight loss story and all that.
Oh
he
yeah.
does. He does.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's going to be a heck of a one. With that said, PHP gave us a detailed email as to why we should have him on. So Rave, BaltimoreRavensVault at gmail.com. We know you got an awesome story. Hit us up. We'll find a way to make it happen at some point here. Mark Clayton, as
There it
what
is.
Sarah was referencing earlier, just dropped a 50 spot and a purple banner attached to it, or pinkish. What do we think this is? Salmon. That goes back to past debate between Sarah and I.
I
Thank
think
you,
it
Mark.
requires a meatloaf. Meatloaf, Bobby.
You think so?
A 50 burger? You got
All
the
right.
burger meat and the
Yeah.
meatloaf? Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Hey, let's do it together. We'll both, you and me, PHP, will turn away from the mics in 3,
Do it.
2, 1. Mother
Meatloaf!
It's almost like an echoes in here. Appreciate you, Mark, and dreams for you, PHP, and we'll get you out of here on this one.
PHP got me ready to come to the tailgate. Come on, Dreams.
Here we
Come
go.
on.
Hey,
Come on.
Queon came up from Virginia last year for a couple. He brought me a couple stogies. He's the guy. Asmodeus came up as well. He brought some cigars. These guys are good dudes. Can't wait to meet all you guys in person. Dude, this was awesome. Give us a final swan song goodbye, if you will. We really appreciate the time. And again, we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts, genuinely, for the support that you've given us. We had no clue that you've been on, by the way. I mean, Sarah mentioned the email in the past, but we didn't know that you were on since the 15-minute version. So it's awesome to know that we got an OG in you, and we appreciate you very much.
Listen, as we close, we are on the embarking of a new season. What does it hold, Ravens fans? We don't know. But I got to reference a movie many of you may have seen. It's an old movie, but it's still a good movie. And so there's a movie called 8 Mile that features the rapper Eminem, if you recall. And there's a part in that when B Rabbit gets to the finals. He's just defeated Lotto. And he's getting the encouragement from his friends to carry on through the finals against Papa Doc, who would later go on to be Captain America. And so in that moment, his friend, not necessarily known for his intelligence, Cheddar Bob, says, "Aren't you worried about what he's going to say?" And Eminem says, "What do you mean?" And he says, "Well, about them beating you up and giving you a black eye and how Wink messed with the girl Alex." And Eminem just kind of looks away. And so then when he gets into the battle with Papa Doc, he uses all of that ammunition against him, leaving him helpless and silent. And so Ravens fans, they always have a lot to say about us. He hasn't made the playoffs. He's a running back. He'll never win the championship. So when it comes to this season, aren't you worried about what they're going to say about him? He couldn't produce in Buffalo. He couldn't beat Mahomes at home. But guess what? We're going to take all of that fuel. We're going to take all of that hate. We're going to take that number 6 ranking, and we're going to throw it right back in their face. And so when it comes to Santa Clara and Lamar is holding that trophy above his head, you'll be able to say, we did it, and we did it our way.
Boom.
Mic drop.
Boom.
Generational mic drop. We can't wait to do it again, PHP. Thank you so much for the sermon. I would be locked in on every word if you were to get up on the altar in this church that you speak of with Dre, and I'd be dialed at every word if you were to be up there with a microphone. Thank you so much, brother. Have an awesome rest of your summer. I'm sure we'll do it again. You're the guy.
All right, Voltrons. See you in the live chat.
Later,
Much
man.
love.
Park Heights Prophet, Sarah.
Wow.
Showing up
That was. Go ahead.
and showing out.
That was everything I expected it to be and more. Because I knew it was going to be fireworks. He threw me off at the beginning because I was like, dang, he came in with the mask. I was a little disappointed, but then he had the mask unveiling, which was awesome. And then he took us to church a couple times. He did bash on a lot of cities, like whole cities. That's probably where the Dre Dog, like lawyer language needed to come in. Who was it? Who is it that's in the hot water with Buffalo? There's a media member. Oh,
Jerry Coleman.
Jerry Coleman. Remember when he said it in front of John Harbaugh? And John Harbaugh like started to laugh and he's like, oh no, I don't endorse that one. He like just took a jab at the entire Buffalo, city of Buffalo. But Yeah, that's fun. That was fun. It was fun to get to know PHB. He's obviously been an OG. I saw somebody in the live chat that called themselves the 15-minute gang. Like another name for the OGs that have been around since we started this doing 15-minute news updates, audio only. Those are some OGs right there.
It's cool how they identify with that and with one another for being, with us that long. And I happen to think that his voice is extremely captivating. His diction, his delivery, that was really cool.
His cadence,
everything. Yeah, he's got a way about him, and that was super cool to know that not only did he clearly put time, or that's just how he wakes up in the morning, maybe. I don't know, but that was awesome. And none of that, let me repeat, none of that was choreographed prior to having him on. He just brought that type of energy, that type of chemistry, and that type of pizzazz, because that's who he is. So we look forward to hopefully highlighting more of you in the future, and it's a tall task. He just had some tough shoes to walk in after that, because as somebody just wrote in the chat, and it disappeared now, talk about a good first impression there. Seriously. In terms of face-to-face. Thank you so much, Park Heights Prophet, for all the channel growth that you've allowed us to enjoy, all the support, and for coming on today. That was hysterical. Let's rip through some super chats. I got to get Tilly to a vet appointment here.
Yep.
Draydog679 says PHP and Dre collaboration, perhaps making a case for next summer. Eric Hill, Sarah is a channel member.
My drive back is wonderful today.
I'm glad, Eric. I'm glad. Mr. DJ Bones has become our newest channel member and now has direct access to thevaultpod.com. If you're wondering where the password is, because I've seen some super chats today, or excuse me, some chats in the live about where you find the password, go to the Discord community, go to your direct messages on Patreon if you're a member, or go to the community post for channel members only. It'll be there for the taking. Now we have to scroll up. And
I think I found it where we left off.
Feel free to.
Okay. Did we do Dreams? Broussard needs to have that argument with Dan.
We did not. Thank you,
Okay,
Dream.
because we already did the Mahomes and Jackson's 1A, 1B. We responded to that. And then M we did was right after that. We had Nikki as a new member, or Nick Marty. Sorry. Then it was
Welcome,
Dreams.
Nick.
Yep. Sorry. Welcome, Nick. Then it was Dreams, and now we're here with Joy.
Yeah, she's celebrating 2 months of channel membership, and she writes, "Sup, Voltrons. Love you, Bobby and Sarah. Not sure why I can't access the soft launch merch. Can someone help an old sister out? You can email us at BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com. That's probably the easiest. Or you can go to the live chat where another member could potentially direct message you or whatever.
Yep.
But depending on where you are, which I think it's probably channel membership, because maybe you're both. But if you're a channel member, which it says you are on the screen, go to the YouTube community post. If not, just email us, BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com. We'll get you what you need.
Dwiz says, Sarah and Bobby, out of 24 hours in a day, these 1 to 2 hours, it's supposed to be 1 to 2, give me the most amount of peace and grounding. Loved the flock fam. Oh, that's nice. I like that.
That's special. That's special to know.
Peace and grounding.
We're glad we're your outlet. That's super cool. JP Bugs writes, I said this on RSR, which is probably Russell Street Report.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati was really bad on defense last year. I think this year will be worse. How can it be any worse than last year? That would be
because their number 1 draft pick isn't practicing and they don't have their star happy because he wants a new contract. And
they've had a lot of cuts, though. They made a lot of changes on the back end, so we'll see.
All right.
Jang is a channel member, and I guess I can take this one since it's
addressed
to me. She says, Bobby, I was tasked to inform. Who tasked you, Jang? To inform you that there's no H in whack. I'm referring to what you said on the Discord yesterday. Also, please don't shoot the messenger. Great show as always. I'll give you the context that you need. And that is what I was reading when my head hit the pillow last night prior to going to bed. There was a little after hours, or how shall we say this? Bobby After Dark, if you will. And I was not a participant in this, but there was a commentary after dark, if you will, in the Discord last night. And folks were having a good old time, which prompted me to say, before my head hit the pillow, or before I actually put my phone down, you guys are whack. And apparently I spelled it the wrong way. So thank you, Jang, for correcting my grammar. Nick Marty, yes, looks like Rick, this Rick Scoops guy that we mentioned, that we used earlier this week, that we sort of went back and forth on whether or not he was accurate with the Isaiah Likely report, Sarah. Now, what was he right on, though, Nick? Because Isaiah's extension has not yet come down. You know what it was? It might have been the Trey Smith one, I think. Did you mention? You had a quick hit on that, right?
We
For
had a quick
Kansas
hit
City.
on that.
And he might have been on top of Sauce as well. So, look, we mentioned that he's been accurate in the past. We also mentioned that he's been
wrong,
inaccurate in the past.
Right, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, somebody like Adam Schefter, who's like batting 99%, you just feel more comfortable with it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Davon Barnes back in the building for you.
He says, preach. Was that for PHP, though?
You already know it. Appreciate you, Davon. Jared says, remember when Nick said an MVP shouldn't need Henry? Meaning, I'm sure Nick right or Nick wrong. Oh, goodness gracious. 90 minutes again. We have 3 new patrons, by the way, because everybody, I feel like, Sarah, is getting fired up to get access to thevaultpod.com. So Eileen Nolan edited hers. So she isn't a new one, but she edited to a new tier. She went from $1.99 to a $4.99. So she now has monthly shout out access from us.
Love it.
And this is hers. So thank you, Eileen, for the continued support on Patreon. Our newest members and newest patrons, I should say. I really like this name. Myron McIntosh. It's kind of a dope name.
Yeah.
Right?
I could hear that name being, the announcer coming out onto the field or a court.
Yeah.
And number 10 at point guard.
Yeah.
Myron McIntosh.
It rolls right off the tongue. It's a very smooth operator name. So Myron, welcome. Darren Alexander, welcome. You're not too shabby either, by the way, your name. So Eileen, Myron, and Darren, welcome to Patreon membership. Thank you for being part of this community. You now have access to thevaultpod.com. If you are trying to figure out how and need the password, just email us, or now that you have us on Patreon, just direct message us. Patreon.com/RavensVault podcast. If you guys are interested in learning more, if you're interested in joining that community, you can also become a channel member. We would love for you to subscribe. We're coming up on 25,000. And let me do a live refresh there, because that's a big number for us. 24,944 at the moment. So if you don't yet subscribe, we'd love for you to do so.
24,900 and what?
944.
Oh, so we are just over 56 away to hit our 25,000 subscribers?
Yep.
It's not bad in 3 years. Oh, if we could do that by our 3rd-year anniversary, that would be special.
Well, I think we're going to do it in the next couple of days. Oh.
When's our anniversary? We have like a week.
You know what, though? No, we have until October.
Oh, you're right. We have till October, because we didn't start on YouTube until October, and that was just with a graphic up in our voices.
So you already know what I'm thinking.
You want to get to
average 10 a year?
Right.
5 is hefty between now and October, and we got to find the specific date, which we will.
Yeah.
But can you imagine going averaging 10,000 subscriptions per year through 3 years? I think it was either late September or early October. We got to find the date for when we launched on YouTube. But to your point, the 28th, I believe, marks 3 years on audio only.
Chris wants to know what they get if we hit 25K.
We can do something to celebrate.
Yeah, we could probably do something with merch. But I'm really looking, but what I really want is that, as you said, the 30K in 3 years.
Be awesome.
That's what I want.
Be awesome. Total milestone for us. So Joe Jenkins writes, are we going from the dynamic duo of Bobby and Sarah to the tremendous trio of Bobby, Sarah, and PHP? You never know.
Yeah.
No, we want to get him involved as much as he wants to be and as much as it makes sense for us. We'll figure out ways to continue to do so. Obviously, we want to keep the formatting pretty much the same here. But if there's ways to get you guys involved, we'll absolutely find a way.
Mike Camp said that Mrs. PHP was here in the chat.
Oh, man.
He said, by
That's
the way,
cool.
and I was waving. I didn't see her. I was
Yeah.
too locked in to Mr. PHP.
Yeah, I must have. Yeah, we both missed that. Nick Marty writes, been a fan of you guys since day one, and I see Lamar and Likely getting extension soon. Ricky is spot on. I don't know what that word is, but appreciate you, Nick. Thanks for being here. And man, what an awesome couple days. I saw a comment earlier on. I can't remember who put it up, and I'm sorry that I'm forgetting, but somebody wrote, this is the best 2 days in the Vault history. And it certainly felt that way. So
in mid-July.
Yeah. Mid-July. So
not after the Ravens smacked down the Steelers in the playoffs last year.
Right.
Yeah. Not when Lamar has won an MVP and we were at the Super Bowl in Las Vegas when it was announced. Not that.
Unbelievable.
Just some good love from Voltrons the last 2 days.
Oreo Cookie, you're right. We're birthday neighbors on the 27th, and you are apparently the 28th. So coming up on Leo season, baby. Let's get it. Partner, appreciate you as always. Park Heights Prophet, special thanks to you for your time, for your energy, for your generosity, and the way you blessed us all today. That was really a fun way to finish up today's show, and we appreciate your time very much. Thanks to all of you for spending some time with us. Here is a close to 100-minute burger for you. And Sarah and I will be back tomorrow, as always. Go check out the merch if you haven't already done so at thevaultpod.com. You can like the video on your way out. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell. If you want to become a member of our Patreon community, go to the show notes. Same thing for the Discord server. And because some of you have asked for that specific link, even though it is in, just so you know, it is in the show notes, I'll drop it just on the way out here in the live chat for you so you can go join if you're interested in doing so. For Sarah Ellison, I'm Bobby Trossett signing off from this Wednesday edition of The Vault, including and featuring Park Heights Prophet. Thank you so much for an awesome couple days. We'll catch up with you on Thursday, if not before. And as always, Voltrons, thanks for spending some time with us here inside the Vault. And Ricky Bear, in closing fashion, becomes our latest channel member as an official Voltron. Thank you guys so much. And as always,